and we delivered. It was a good business. I worked there for a period of 4 years. While I was working, one time, because we were trying to establish macadamia nuts. We were trying to develop some other businesses. One time I was doing my normal routine. I was tending the crop, and a friend visited the company. Then he saw how I was handling the macadamia. He admired my work. Then he asked me if I can join him elsewhere. Then I told him there's no problem, but before I join you, I must accomplish what I was doing at that time in that company. So I requested him to take my friend who had same qualifications, same experience, same determination for a year. My friend excelled, and then I joined them in the year 2011. That is Migotio Plantations Limited. In Migotio Plantations Limited, I joined the company as a junior officer. It was also an export company, dealing with also fresh produce, but more advanced. There what I got unique in the company was the compliance to, there are barriers to trade. One of them that we know is compliance. So there was high level of compliance, and they had export permits. They were able to also produce and export, and that's where I learned a lot on processes of certification, how to acquire an export permit, and continue with trade and make money. My department, which I was given the overall mandate as production manager, was seed production. And my core mandate also was to seek for partners, to partner with the company. So we worked under partnership. The first partner was Monsanto Kenya Limited. Monsanto is an international company dealing mostly with agrochemicals and maize seed. So I was given the opportunity to work with them to produce. And since I was working since when I was a young boy, I performed. I manifested exemplary performance. My attribute was paying attention to small details. And the most important detail was determination, responsibility. Then I was given a chance to visit more countries so that I can also meet with other production managers like me, because it's like I had beaten all the producers in this country. Then there were some producers in Zambia, some in South Africa. Mine, I used to achieve a target of 5 tons per hectare, which was sellable seed. Them in Zambia, 8 tons. South Africa, 12 tons. So I worked with them in South Africa and Zambia. When I came back, I was able to improve production, and I was promoted to be in charge of various departments. That's also at the time I got now opportunity to look at all nitty-gritties needed to improve performance, especially on export market, because that is where traders can venture, especially in production and value chain, can venture and make money. So I continued working, developing businesses and other opportunities, like the most important crop was the department of apps. Apps are small, they're like more or less like vegetables, but high value, with a lot of benefits and with big demand overseas. Countries like Israel, European Union, members, they consume a lot of apps. So we followed the procedures, we were able to export. We also planted a lot of French beans for export. And then avocados, which these are high value crops, which always we talk of when we talk of diversification. Macadamia, mangoes, among other fruit crops. And then I developed another passion while I was working, because I used to visit our county every time. When I was in my county, I used to see a lot of maize getting wasted, farmers not accessing markets. And then I was imagining what can it be done. And then I sought an opportunity to work here so that I can work closely with Wasingishu farmers, traders, and everyone in the value chain. My prayer was answered. I encountered also a friend who offered me an opportunity to work in their company. The company is in this town. It's called Kesio Rice Limited, dealing with maize milling. In the process, I asked them, one, I want to bond with my farmers, our farmers in Wasingishu. One, to create market for them. That was number one. Two, to see what can it be done to add value. And in that sense, what motivated me most is when I was traveling to my home along Eldoret Siwa Road. I used to see a structure, and then I asked, out of my curiosity, I was told it's a moisoi mill doing the same thing. Then I thought, I thought this is now my time to build my capacity, so that one time, I knew one time I'll get an opportunity to work with my people. That's why I've been there. I've seen how maize can be converted into various industrial products, very important one, so that we can...
Nominee, let me give you only 1 minute to summarize on introduction.
Okay.
Since you'll still have a cross-examination and you'll still have maybe you're finishing all what you're supposed to tell us when it comes to questions.
Thank you very much.
So I'm praying that let me give you 1 minute so that you conclude on your introduction.
Okay.
Then now we will proceed to questions and you giving us answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for that point of order. So I'll conclude by saying that is where I work up to now. And in my introduction, I had forgotten to say that I'm a married man, a family man, married to only one wife, and I'm blessed with 4 boys and 1 beautiful girl. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much. At least you are almost forgetting to tell us that you are a family man, and we appreciate for that. Thank you for the introduction, an elaborate one. At least we've known, we are now confident to say who is this Elphas Kesio. Before we proceed to questions, let me recognize our senior deputy clerk. You can introduce yourself. Thank you. Also in our gallery, let me recognize our legal advisor, Ronald. Thank you and welcome. Members of the public, you're also welcome to this vetting. Elphas Kesio, let me start by asking you what really motivated you to seek for this position of chief officer? What was your motivation? And if given this position, what is that one thing that will motivate you to at least deliver for the people of Uasin-Gishu? And also, you understand that we got devolution 2010 through Constitution 2010. And this devolution, at least, it is controlled by some of the jurisdictions, some of the laws, some of the statutes. So you can tell us, what do you understand on devolution? What governs devolution? What are some of the statutes that will guide you, if given this position, when you are in office, so that we achieve, or you give service to the people or to the residents of Uasin-Gishu? So you can tell us what motivated you to apply for this position, and what you understand about devolution.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. On motivation, Honorable Chair, one, I can attest that I came across an advert in one of the dailies advertising for chief officer positions in Uasin-Gishu County government. I look at my qualifications and credentials, and I felt that I'm most qualified, and I made an application through the County Public Service, which after considering my application, I was invited for the interview. I was interviewed, and I was likely nominated in that position of trade, industry, investment, and tourism. As I had said earlier, that there was a strong motivation and a desire to be in the value chain whereby I can offer my services, which I've gained in the positions of my learning and other institutions, to be part of the solution of problems that are faced by citizens of Uasin-Gishu County. On devolution, Honorable Chair, I understand that 2010, there is a Constitution Act 2010, Act on Devolution, which devolved the functions. It gave rise to the 4 functions, 35 to the national government, and 14 functions were devolved to county government. That gave rise to County Government Act 2012. And the departments, the key departments that were given, trade, which I showed interest, is one of the devolved. among other departments like education, health. Education, I think it's vocational training and ECD. Then there is agriculture. There is licensing of FETs. There is the part where it deals with environment, noise pollution and other, among other devolved units. This also gave rise to Public Finance Management Act 2012, which now guides on how resources and financial matters of devolved will be managed, especially finance. And then there is that Act on Public Procurement Act, also 2012, which guides when procuring. There is a central, it gave rise to a central procurement system of the county government. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. And before I give chance to honorable members, you said very well that what motivated you for this position is that advertisement that you saw on the positions of chief officers, and you are interested and you applied. I've heard you well when you are explaining yourself, when you're introducing yourself, and I realized that for your bachelor's degree, you did agriculture course. You've worked in agricultural farms, all your experiences on agriculture. And I wanted to know why, how comes that you didn't apply for C or Chief Officer Agriculture or Chief Officer Livestock, and you decided that I'm applying for Chief Officer Trade, Industry and Investment. Kindly convince the honorable members that you will transfer what you had in agriculture to trade and how. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Chair. That's a very important question. And if you, as you've explained, Chair, I've moved along the value chain. One, I started in production, as I had explained. Now I'm doing value addition. In value addition, there is a lot of element of trade. And I was trying to integrate vertically. And I was considering challenges that are facing traders and producers. And also consider our county, we always say it's a bread basket where a lot of products can be produced because of a very good climate, very good soil, and we still have good farms, large scale and small scale farms. This is where production to sustain industries, because we have industries which most of the raw material for these industries is agro-based. Also considering the country at large, we have Vision 2030, which I've been reading and doing a lot of research on that. It shows that value addition, manufacturing, because before you manufacture, you must produce, or you must source from a producer. So I can integrate and be of so much importance to this county, because I have the background, because you have to appreciate. For you to understand, you must appreciate. And to appreciate is, have you ever been part of that? So I can appreciate what's happening in production, so that I'm so much careful at value addition level and marketing level. Because at the end of the day, that is the chain which will be maintained. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, I'm now giving you opportunity to ask questions to our nominee. And it will depend. Maybe we'll give you a set of questions, and so that you answer. So we will pick questions from 2 honorable members and give you the opportunity to give answers for that. Then we proceed to an honorable members. Let us go straight to the question, so that at least our nominee, we will get answers, or we will get substance from our nominee. So I'm inviting a member, honorable member from Kapsoya Ward, Honorable Kirwa, welcome. And then Honorable Majority Whip.
Okay, thank you, Chair, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Kesio, congratulations for that far being appointee or nominee of Chief Officer Trade. I have few questions to ask. One, the Chief Officer is the heartbeat of all operation in the department. How do you intend to balance politics, public service, national government, and national government policies? In fact, the concern with the chair had about chief officer applying for trade, whereby he qualifies more in agriculture, the horticulture part, which I'm so interested. And this county is the agriculture is the backbone. I think the production should come first before we go for value addition, and also we go for marketing of our produce. So also, Mr. Kesio, if this county requests you also to assist us in production, especially as we are talking now, we have shortage of food within the republic. Will you be able to assist us also in that area where you are, it is your area of jurisdiction? Because we need to produce, as you know, agriculture will employ so many people, as also you are looking for the market. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kirwa Kapsoya. And you've heard that question concerning how you are going to balance politics, public service, and national government policies. And to add on that, so that I don't repeat myself, in this questionnaire that you are given a questionnaire.
Yes.
And
Yes,
yeah. In number 20, it talks about public office, political activities, and affiliation. And A, it says list chronologically any public office you've held or you are currently holding, including the terms of service and whether such positions were elected or appointed. And your answer was not available, or your answer not applicable, or your answer was no. So now you've worked in the private sector. You're now coming to public sector. So the question was, how will you balance politics, public service, and national government policies, having worked in private sector for a very long time, and you're now joining public sector? Honorable, you listed those questions, eh? Honorable Majority Whip.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, our nominee, Elphas Kesio. Maybe my question would be that as a very determined person, very passionate and motivated, having worked with several institutions, one of it is the Monsanto company, which is one of the big companies in the world. You have demonstrated your commitment in working with those various companies. And here comes that now, a circumstance where you are not supported in demonstrating commitment to the highest ethical standards. How do you reconcile being asked to pursue a policy position that might not reflect your personal values? I think that one is what I can ask my nominee, because I've seen you are very much passionate, because having gone through those various companies, and you have demonstrated that you really have the passion to work. So maybe that is my question now, because this is a government whereby at times maybe what you want to translate may not be what you don't get the support. I think that one is what I can say. It's very valid and may appear in your course. Thank you very much, Chair.
Welcome, our nominee.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. First, I'm requesting to answer the question through the Chair of Honorable Member of Kapsoya, or Mr. Honorable Kirwa, that how I'll balance politics and my public service work. So there is a statute which guides public service, and it clearly states who is a state officer and a public officer. I can classify myself as a public officer. And when I'm rendering public service, I leave politics to the politicians and now follow the core values of public service. Now, your second question through the Chair, Honorable Member for Kapsoya, you've asked if I'll be willing to also extend my service backwards to production. It's very important. As I had stated, that is why I have applied for this position, because I'll create time, and there is time since I'm a public servant. I'll be able to offer my technical advice. And also, as I understand, one of the roles of a chief officer is to build relationships with other departments, because we'll be working as a team. In a team, we share the information. Even through the committee, we'll have to share the information so that we also succeed as one team. There's a question from Honorable Member, Honorable Songok. That there are some instances where you are asked by, or you're not supported, or you are asked to do what is not supported. Also, in this case, in this instance, I'll have to follow what the law says. I'll have to advise according to the law. Because we have to conform, we have to comply and act as per the law. Honorable Chair, there is a question that I've never held any private or public office, and I've worked in private sector. I've considered and I've checked properly that in this public service job, that if this House approve and give me, while I was working, there are a lot of elements of like in Public Finance Management Act, where there are processes of budgeting and other laws. These are exactly like audits, internal audits, and various policies that support my work. This one cuts across all the sectors. We were applying and we are still applying. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Now let me give opportunity to Honorable Patrick. He was the first one. And I'll balance Honorable Wanjui. Then I'll come to Honorable Iganjo. And but first we take sets of questions from Honorable Kimani Wanjui and Honorable Patrick.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a question for our nominee. Mr. Kesio, being the chief officer, what will you do when it comes to especially tax imbalances that we are experiencing in Uasin Gishu? Some are paying high, others are paying low, and others are not paying anything when it comes to taxes. Do you also have information that the same issue of taxes has caused a lot of havoc in some businesses, because others have closed their business down? That is the cause of problem when it comes to enforcement, because the traders are not able to pay the high taxes, especially now that we had a problem with COVID, and most of them have not paid the last year's taxes, and they are supposed to pay the last year and this year. Now you are coming in the office where this problem is. How will you help solving the same issue of traders? Another question is the issue of markets. We have a problem where the markets are not built where it's supposed to be built. If you go to several markets, they have been built outside the town or far from the people. And that one now has made people not to use the same markets and improvise their own markets, because the accessibility, and especially where the customers are, make it difficult for people to use the same. Now you're coming in. How will you use your expertise to make sure the administration understands the trends of markets and where the markets are supposed to be built? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Wanjui.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, Mr. Kesio, for make it to this point. I have two questions for you. How likely are you able to handle the so-called bottom-up traders, the hawkers, the mamambogas, the trolley vendors? Because there is a huge outcry on how traders are being handled. In fact, if you type on your Google phone, which is the most, you just type which is the most notorious town when it comes to reigning of Kanjo, you'll get that it is Eldoret. Number two, you'll realize that the revenue for this county has dropped immensely, especially from the time.
Honorable Wanjui, I will give you time to proceed, but this is also of records, and you only confirm that what you said is really in Google, because it is going to record that Eldoret town is notorious.
That one I can confirm.
You can confirm, you can substantiate that it is the true position.
Yes.
Or if it is not the true position, now you can withdraw.
I can substantiate. Two, as I said, the revenue has dropped. Traders feel unmotivated, and most of them have been relocating to other counties such as Bungoma and Kakamega. From the records where I come from in my ward, I can confirm that more than 100 of them have relocated. That is within my knowledge. Others are not within my knowledge. Now, how then are you going to come up with the system that motivates the traders? If I may buttress the point, if you go to maybe towns that borders maybe Kakamega and Uasin Gishu, or either Bungoma and Uasin Gishu, you'll find that traders opt to be on the other side rather than being on trading on Uasin Gishu side. Case in point is Matunda and Moss Bridge and Soy. You'll find most traders wanting to be in the western part of region rather than being in Uasin Gishu place. How then are you going to motivate the traders to feel part and parcel of this county?
Thank you so much, Honorable Wanjoi and Honorable Patrick. And those are now questions concerning our traders outside there, our businessmen and women, our farmers, and what they are going through. So at least you can now use your time and elaborate more on the plans and motivation that you can employ so that they can come back to us in Kishu and do business now that we are making it as a city as the chief officer. So you can proceed and respond to the two questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Allow me to start from with questions from Honorable Wanjoi. That when you Google, there's a huge outcry on handling these traders, problems that are facing our traders in this town. For sure, Honorable, this is the problem that we've been seeing. And traders are very important part of our department. Now, in my view, I've been seeing the market that was recently closed. It's like we have more traders than the facilities of trade that we've availed in our county. But I'm happy also when I Google, I'm seeing the county is struggling to put up a ultra modern market, which I'm seeing the capacity is a little bit higher. Because I understand initially the market was designed for traders less than 1,000, but there are more than 2,000 traders, which means 1,000 are already in the market. The other ones are somewhere there, obstructing the ones who are already inside there. And that is a source of conflict. If that conflict arises, it will disturb how they are doing their work. So you'll see most of them will do the hawking. When they are hawking, they are offering the same goods and services that are being offered by the ones who are already accommodated in the market. So I'll come up with a way whereby also consulting, so that now it's a teamwork. I consult, we formulate some policies that leads to us availing more market space in our town. We know there are some groceries that we can do. And also, when you look at the agenda, the CIDB and Kushakumi, when you go outside our county or other countries, you encounter what we call a mall. malls. We want to modernize trade also in Uasin Gishu, so that we have malls, which we can also see our mama mbogas in a mall, running very beautiful groceries, where goods are displayed in a very nice way, which can also attract good number of customers. Because I'm sure in the same mall, there is ample parking. Because sometimes parking is an issue when you try to access our markets. I know the facility may also provide the same. In that way, what I'm talking about is availing very good business environment, whereby every trader is given equal opportunities to use the facilities, and the buyers are satisfied. Also, our traders migrating outside. It's the same thing, the same problem, the space. And also, I'm happy that there is an act that was passed in this house, Traders, that is Trade Act, which gives very nice way of how market trading and other activities can be handled. In that case, if we have responsible market committees who will follow the procedures, who will handle the conflicts that can arise in an amicable way, who will take proactive measures. Proactive means we have to see where can be possible conflicts and how can it be resolved in an amicable way. Then you'll have enough time to assemble a team. And the team now will comprise law enforcement officers, county executive committee member. In that case, solutions will be, so we'll be proactive in that, in implementing that act. It's a very good act. It will regulate our markets, it will regulate our trade, and that is it. And nobody will run away from our county to seek nice business opportunities elsewhere. Question from Honorable Member Patrick on issue of tax balancing and tax collection. There are some issues when it comes to tax collection. I'll start with question number 1 through the chair. We know tax is a statutory requirement that all of us have to comply and pay tax. So I think one very important thing that we can do is to sensitize the public, to sensitize everyone on the importance of complying and paying tax. And I know most of us yesterday on our current affairs, our president touched on something on tax, that we will be lucky as hustlers, the status can be given some small exemption. I think this issue is even national, despite the fact that we are facing here that our MSMEs, those on the status of trade and business, may benefit from that. And I'm seeing it will be applied soonest, meaning it will solve that problem. Also, the process of collecting this tax or revenue. One, I think we can make it friendly in a way that we do early sensitization so that we don't rush. Because I know we are working on targets. Sometimes somebody can realize that I'm late on collecting. So when you are late, on top of the authorized officers, you may be forced to use a force. In that case, it will bring a problem and some resistance. In that process of creating resistance, it will bring a conflict. And somebody may feel that he's being discriminated or oppression. So I don't want our traders to feel oppressed. Let us do a lot of sensitization through our media and through other sources of information. That there should be effective information. We communicate in time so that they have enough time to comply. Also, if there is a way that, because I was saying we are working on targets, that our officers can have a schedule or set of installments. Because sometimes during this hard economic time, you may not be able to raise whatever. If they can be given a room or a policy which can give them a sort of duration, it will solve the problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And there was a question from Honorable Wanjui that how will you deal with bottom-up, this bottom-up approach, and in this case was how to deal with, how will you support these mama bokas, border, and the rest. I don't know if that question was answered.
It wasn't answered.
Okay. Thank you.
Because he confined himself to market as opposed to some traders, boda, the trolley guys, those kind of low cadre traders.
Welcome.
Okay, let me clarify something about the revenue and taxes. The county government, we only collect the revenue. The tax is being done by the national government. So you should have to clarify on that one.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I hope but for the case of Honorable Patrick, it was in terms of paying, that is, and the rest, and you've done that well. So I don't know, we are not going to repeat that, but thanks for that clarification. And before I give opportunity to Honorable Iganjo and Honorable Washira, let me also give chance to my Vice Chair, at least to ask question.
It's okay. Thank you, Chair. Our nominee, if given this position, you will basically be the overall team leader managing the department. With your elaborate CV, which I've gone through, tell us how much you know about public service management.
Thank you. And let me recognize the presence of Honorable Deputy Minority Whip or Deputy Minority Leader. Welcome, Honorable Iganjo.
Thank you, Chair. My question was asked by someone else, but I also have some recommendation maybe for a nominee, Mr. Kesio. You understand that we've had a problem with the market for the last 4 or 5 months, and the CS for lands was here, and they promised to start the market in a month, the main market, which has a problem, which they have not. I would just want to tell you that this job that you're being given, if you become successful, you need to really work under pressure, because there's so much that is left behind, and actually trade is the backbone of Uasin Gishu. We have issues even at the market in Mutiridia, whereby our women, mama mbogas, are mugged in the morning, just because there are no street lights. Toilets are in bad position, not good. The rains are coming. They need sheds over there. You know, the shamba is big enough, but it has accommodated about 600 traders. They are more than that. So I would urge you to move with speed once you get into office, because we need to put more sheds so that we can have more traders. And having more traders, you'll have to collect a lot of revenue. There is also the issue of harassment. You'd find that in your docket, we will be calling you maybe because our people, the Mamambogas and this bottom-up issue, they are being harassed by the county askaris. Most of them about displays on their shops. I would think maybe if you can come up with a policy where you can charge something small for display, because you have to display your commodities or your stuff so that customers can see. But you'll find that they are taken away by the county askaris. When they are taken to the stores or something like that, they get lost. You find that the clothes, I don't know whether they go and wear them or sell them. So it's an issue that, it's a docket that really needs a lot of concentration so that we can have, you know, our traders can work and, you know, achieve whatever they want. One other thing I would also urge you is to really work hand in hand with this committee, because they are vibrant. The committee members and the chair, under the leadership of our chair, we are really vibrant. My question is, what would you do? Because you know, there are trade fairs and so many other things that we are supposed to attend. What would you do to help us, you know, attend and even get to know more about other countries or other places or other counties, what they are doing? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Waiganjo. And the first two were recommendations, so that if you become successful, or you've notified all of them, so that if your prayers are answered, then you can go and implement that. Honorable Washira.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations, Mr. Elphas Kesio, for your nomination. I have only two questions. Number one, if given this position of chief officer, how will you ensure that your action or influence contributes towards continuous improvement of service in this county government? Number two, what strategies will you employ in providing leadership as chief officer in Uasin Gishu County? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hope you've noted all the questions. Yes. So that let me accommodate Honorable Samuel Sawe, member for Kamagut and chair for budget. Welcome. And before you proceed, Honorable, let me recognize Mheshimiwa Mary Kureti from Kipsomba Ward. You can make an introduction.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mary Kureti Boroso, representing Kipsomba Ward. Thank you for the good one.
Thank you, Chair. Elphas Kesio, congratulations for making into this position. Now, as a chief officer, how do you intend to deal with senior officers in your department who do not practice government policies and procedures as expected of them? Number two, as a homework, Kamagut, where I represent, has a public market called Jokali Market. Jokali Market is so big, there are a lot of things being sold.
government get revenues, but there are no toilets. We have raised complaints all along, and now I'm giving you this one as a homework. If given this position, you can start with Yokale Market. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I can start with Honorable Chair. Allow me to start with a question from Honorable Member from Gamagud, Honorable Samuel Sawe. He has asked a question as a chief officer dealing with senior officers not complying or not practicing what's expected from them. One, as a chief officer, I'll take an initiative of explaining, because I know all of us are bound by laws and procedures of employment. And what I had said before, compliance is very important. So I'll take time to explain the importance of compliance, that there is no option, there is no shortcut when it comes to practicing what is expected from them. This is very clearly stated in the statutes of public service, that there are some attributes you must practice. If there is no compliance, this House also is an oversight. I think I'll also seek advice from here, the County Assembly, on the issue of our public markets. This public market in Juagali, that there is no toilet facility. Also, I'm aware it's a common problem because there is a market which has been closed also, I understand, in Cheptiret, simply because of the same problem. And in the same act that I quoted earlier when I was answering a question, there is a role that public health and sanitation, because, and also currently we are facing a problem, cholera, that we are told we should be washing our hands thoroughly, we should be washing our produce thoroughly before cooking or doing everything. So when it comes to toilet, we have to make sure that we have enough toilets in our markets so that we don't have, cholera and other nutritional infections are very dangerous and expensive to treat. We have to make sure that we practice this and make sure that there's an element called food safety. Food safety is very important to all of us in terms of how it is handled. It's a procedure, right from production up to when it is in the market. In production, we are taking care of chemicals and other contaminants. Now, it will be bad if we take care of contaminants at production level, and then when it comes to handling, is when now we contaminate this food. So I'll struggle in my department to make sure that every market that is established must have all the facilities which are very essential and basic. And the most basic one is a sanitation facility, which is a toilet and also a failing water. there must be running water, not water running, water. Running means you can open a tap, it's running, you wash your hand. Because water can be there, but not running.
Our nominee, for the interest of time,
Yes.
and we have only 10 minutes to finish this vetting process, I am requesting that you respond to the questions. Only 2 minutes responding to the questions from Honorable Ashira and Honorable Samuel Sawe and our Vice Chair, so that take only 2 sets of questions from those honorable members who have not given the opportunity, like Honorable Serem. Then we finish by 11:20. We should have finished this vetting. So respond directly to the questions, and then I'll give chance to the rest of the members. Welcome.
Thank you. I'll go to a question from Honorable Washira. Strategies of leadership that I'll use. One is team building, team leadership. We have to work as a team. Secondly is motivation. You have to motivate and appreciate what your team members have done. Even rewarding, not necessarily monetary, appreciating and giving certificates, appreciating of better service. Question from our Vice Chair. How much do you know about public service management? Sorry, Honorable Chair. Honorable Member.
So did you note that question from Honorable Ashira? The first one you've answered about the leadership strategy that you are going to apply. The other one was? Welcome.
Sorry, Honorable Member, I combined and I gave an answer. 2 answers for one question and 1 answer for the last question. Thank you very much. The question by Deputy Chair, and how much you know about public service. I know as a CEO, it's a delegated responsibility, delegated to me by the head of county public service, who is a chief county secretary. In that case, I'll be in charge of the human resource of my department. And there are acts or statutes that govern how we are practicing and our service delivery. Like an example of hiring, that is hiring of staff. There is some rules on their safety, how safe they are. Also some disciplinary procedures to be followed in case one is not complying. Thank you. Then there is a question from Honorable Waikanjo.
From Honorable Waikanjo, the questions, they were not questions but recommendations.
Recommendations, yes.
Of which you noted. So let me accommodate Honorable James Serem if you have a question.
There is a question on exposure from Honorable Member Waikanjo.
Okay.
I can answer.
Okay.
Yes. So for this, it's good we expose our members so that we compare notes with other successful counties or practices in other countries, because that is how we know. You cannot know your position unless you compare yourself with somebody else. We know of successful markets we know of successful policies that have been implemented elsewhere. So it will be as a committee. Once in a while, we will be moving out of here. We do a benchmarking. And then we do some comparison. We take notes. And then we come and review what we are doing here. It will better our results. Thank you.
Honorable Serem, and maybe I will take only 3 questions. So Honorable Serem, one question from Honorable Sawe, and 1 question from Honorable Goreti, and then now we can less Honorable Deputy Minority. Okay.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, and Mr. Kesio. First and foremost, I want to thank you in a special way for making this far. And my question is, I'll begin with the hardest one. Throughout your questionnaires, I've not seen anywhere you've feel concerning your religion, and that is my first question. The second one is, what objectives will you use in maintaining effective collaboration and partnership with other organs of the government, or county government and national government, the private sector, and other stakeholders? As I also add a word of congratulations, because I've known you are very conversant on the Department of Agriculture, where I'm the chair of Agriculture and Agribusiness, and I must and believe that you are going to be of great help also in that department, of which I believe, given this position of CEO of trade, will of great importance to us as Agriculture Department. And I must believe you are not going to sabotage us, because I've known you are very conversant on agriculture, but you are going to work hand in hand with us if given the position. Thank you so much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mary Goret.
Thank you, Chair Trade. First of all, I want to congratulate Elphas Kesio for making it to this point. My question is that, given the opportunity as a CEO, how fast will you enable the traders to have the licensing, and which mechanisms are you going to use to ensure that even those in the rural areas can be able to access it with ease? Thank you.
Honorable Samuel Sawe.
Our nominee, there is something which cropped up after perusing your papers, and on your academic and professional qualification. You went through Egerton University for 5 years. That is 2002 to 2007. And you graduated in 2014. Tell us, what was happening between 2002 and 2014?
Thank you, Honorable Samuel Sawe. So you respond to those questions, and especially from Honorable Samuel Sawe, that Egerton University Bachelor of Science in Horticulture, 2002-2007. But year of graduation is 2014. And the criteria for, if you look at the notes in this questionnaire, D clearly says the submission of false information in the questionnaire shall lead to the automatic disqualification of a nominee. So I don't know what you're going to tell us there, that here it is 2007, 2002, 2007, and on the certificate it is 2014. So Kindly clarify that. Welcome. And finally, so that you finish once, you tell us on your net worth. We want to know this. Kesio, Elphas Kesio, your net worth, that is assets, liabilities. You can tell us briefly on that. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Chair. Let me respond to question from Honorable Sawe that I studied in Egerton from 2002 to 2007. Now, graduation from my employment, I got employed immediately after I completed my studies. What happened? I did not attend the graduation ceremony of that particular time. So because of work, I had a lot of work to do. Because remember also, I was what we call an hustler. So being an hustler, I had not completed also the fees that could enable me to graduate at that time. So one, there was an aspect of employment. Two, fees. When I paid the fees immediately, I considered working. And then in the year 2014, I went back to Egerton University and requested them if that I can join any graduation ceremony. Then there was a short graduation only for the ceremony, not for the hour of the, it was only for the ceremony. On my net worth.
So you are clarifying to this committee that you graduated 2014, but you finished your studies 2007.
Yes.
So it is only that you opted to
Work.
for 7 years so that you go for your.
Yes.
So the reason was school fees and work.
Yes.
So you can convince this committee that we take that one as the reason why you graduated 7 years after completion.
Yes, it was also, I was an hustler there, I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
You can proceed.
And I was also paying my fees. On my net worth, Honorable Chair, if you can look at the questionnaire, I think I'm worth 23 million. If you balance my assets and liabilities, I've stated clearly there is a house and then vehicles and then the plots that I own. And there are some loans that I have to service, which is adding up to about 8 million. So when you do the calculation, it will come to that figure of 23 million. And my liquidity, the amount of money that is liquid that I have, as stated in the questionnaire, is 1.5 million. That is the money if something can happen now. If an issue arises like school fees, I can comfortably say that is for school fees and any other thing that arises like food.
Thank you. That
Thank
one
you.
is very clear. And we will pray that something bad will not happen so that we don't use the money. So you can proceed.
Thank you. I can now proceed to question from Honorable Chair, from Honorable Member for Kipsomba Ward, Koreti, where I come from. Now on how fast I can enable my traders get the licenses, especially in rural areas. First, ICT. ICT was part of the manifesto of our governor that we want to do seamless acquiring of our licenses. Seamless means every process of acquiring the license must be digitized, because also, as we know, nearly over 60% of our traders can access the services of maybe a computer or the modern phones, which you can get the invoice from the county government, you can pay through the M-Pesa and get the service. Also, it's very important we decentralize, we devolve our revenue system further to the villages, and that one is in the constitution also, that we have to devolve the services. If we devolve the services, we take our revenue officers to work near the source of revenue. It will better our service delivery and improve more on how we are collecting the revenue. I know soon we'll have also village administrators who can chip in and assist in that. Another question from Honorable Serem. He is worried that my religion, sorry, in my introduction I did not say, but I'm a God-fearing man, I'm a Christian, an AIC. I fellowship in AIC Uplands Ilula, and my local church is also home is Cheplelaibe AIC Church. On a question on collaboration with other private sectors and other organs of our county, there's a law that is in the Government Relations Act that clearly stipulates how we will coordinate policies from one county to the next. Especially here, we have a very important, it's a cooperation, NOREP, which is a very essential tool on trade, especially on marketing. In as much as we are Uasin Gishu, we have our neighboring counties. So I'll seek some integration as a team, or now we are going to integrate and set some framework policies that will bring some good integration. And then in that case, our traders will benefit because we'll extend our services beyond our county with some set of regulations that guiding the relationship so that there are no conflicts.
Thank you so much. Hope you've responded to all the questions.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Honorable Serem from Corona Maibeki, you are now happy that he's also an AIC member like you. So you can still compare notes. And we've come to the end, and Honorable and our nominee, I'm giving you 1 minute to make your closing remark, and if you have any prayer to this committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. One of my closing remarks, which is very important, and a prayer also, that for long I worked outside my county, but the people who educated me, the people who did some Arambes and everything are in this county. So I saw it better that this is an opportunity to lend back to the society. So I feel indebted to people and citizens of Uasin Gishu County. That's why, so that, and also there's a belief and there's a value in me that I value what I do to people than what I do to myself. And that's why I am praying to this house that allow me to see the value I have in myself, the experience, the encounters in all aspects. As you've seen, I've been migrating along the value chain, that I approve my nomination so that I'll bring in the values and services that I feel indebted to my people of Uasin Gishu. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I've underlined the last statement. There's a statement that you've made, and I've underlined that you value what you do to people, not what you do to yourself. So stick to that statement if given the opportunity, kindly. Honorable members, let me say thanks for your time. And our nominee, once again, congratulations for making to this far. And thanks for your time. You've done your best. And we really say congratulations. Honorable members, for your time and your contributions, your questions, and all that I'm saying as the chair of this committee, thank you so much. And may God bless you. Otherwise, we've come to the end, and members have confirmed all the certificates, the originals. Those certificates are the originals, and they belong to Honorable our nominee Kesio. I've also confirmed that we have the ESCC, the DCI. You also have tax compliance certificate. We also have health clearance certificate and the rest. So all of them we've confirmed. Otherwise, thank you and may God bless you. So you remain behind so that we make one or two communications. And now I will request members of in the public gallery that we are so grateful for your time following these proceedings, and we welcome you once again when we have any other proceeding. Otherwise, we will excuse you so that now we can conclude as the committee. Thank you.